Welcome to the Grace Story Podcast, where inspiring stories are brought to life. This podcast is made possible by Grace College and Seminary, located on the shores of Winona Lake in the great state of Indiana. I'm your host, Dr. Drew Flam. This is the Grace Story Podcast. Today, our guest is Virag Zebo. Virag is an international student visiting from our sister school in Hungary, Karoli Gashpar University, the same school our previous guest, Flavia, spent a semester at. Virag is already an accomplished researcher in the field of psychology and developmental theory, having been published multiple times. Her academic prowess has garnered her many accolades and prizes, and we're thrilled to have her on our campus this semester. Virag, welcome to the podcast.
Nice to meet you. It's my pleasure for being here and talking with you.
Thank you. Well, we're just really excited to get to know you. We're thankful to have you as a part of our community. So just tell us a little bit about where you grew up, your home life, and then how you found yourself to Karoli Gashpar. And then you can correct my pronunciation on that while you're at it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you again for the opportunity for being here. And I'm really excited to tell a bit more about where I came from, because I suppose the intercultural differences are always interesting. Mm-hmm. So I brought up in a Christian value-oriented family, and I can say that I'm really thankful because the atmosphere where I grew up, I think it was a really blessed and good quality area concerning all aspects of life. So I brought up in the outskirts of Budapest, which is in the Greenbelt, and the social community is also really closely knitted. So it was a really good atmosphere for my childhood. And I live in the capital of Hungary. Its name is Budapest. And I'm really fond of this city, the vibes we have in the city. So I love living there because it's really busy, but I have a lot of good experiences there, and there are a lot of opportunities and things to do every day. And I'm still amazed of the view or buildings of the city. And after secondary school, I applied for Karoli Gashpar University, and I think I really find my way in that university because it offers me several really good and prosperous opportunities to improve my knowledge and improve my personality too.
And you said before the podcast that Karoli Gashpar, which I've now mispronounced twice, is John Calvin University, if we were to say that in English. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's English translation.
That's awesome. How big is, most of us are familiar with Budapest, at least in name. How big is Budapest?
There live approximately 1 million people, and this is the biggest city in Hungary. It has nowadays a kind of multicultural phase because we have a lot of tourists, because the nice view of the city invite people all around from the world. So, what shall I tell more about our city?
Yeah, I would love to know a little bit more about Karoli Gashpar, the university that you went to, which is a sister school with Grace. Yeah. We've had students go back and forth, professors go back and forth. Tell us a little bit about that school and your experience. What did you study there, and how did you become interested in that subject?
Okay. It's quite hard to compare the two universities because we don't have a campus. Because our university is in the city center, and the infrastructure and the structure of the city doesn't allow our university to have a campus. So we have several buildings. Karoli has several buildings.
So did you live at home then and come into campus for classes, or did you live on campus?
Originally, I lived in the outskirts, but I became a member of Benda Kálmán College of Excellence, and it offered me an opportunity to live in its dorm. So I live now in the city center.
Okay, near
and
the college. Okay.
yeah, so I live in a student hostel, and if I would like to go and participate in my classes, I have to use public transportation and go to different buildings inside the city, because we have several buildings for each department in the city center.
Okay. And I looked at your resume, which is much longer than mine, which means you've already accomplished so much. And you've had some interests in psychology and research. Tell us a little bit about that and some of the things you've published and really studied.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I have to tell you that originally I started study psychology in another university, which wasn't in Budapest, and I realized that I get really passionate in psychology, and that's why I changed university, and I changed studying psychology from correspondence course in full time course. So I moved to Budapest, and I started studying psychology and Karoli, because I heard that in the whole country, Karoli offers the best psychology education. So
It's what we go to the best place, right? Go to the best place to get the education. Makes a lot of sense.
yeah, maybe it can show that I'm really fond of this field, and I'm really thankful for Karoli, because I feel the psychology department apply a lot of really good professor who I respect, not just for their knowledge and their previous experiences and previous professional work, but also for their personality. So I learned a lot from them, and I have a really kind professor there whose name is András Varga, and I think I respect him the most from my teachers, and he helped me a lot, and I think I can thank him that I choose the field, religiosity, spirituality, quality of life, positive psychology, for the field to make researches in.
And you've done a lot of research. What specifically have you studied and written papers on and done presentations on within the field of psychology?
Yeah. It was an interesting event, because the professor who I asked from to be my tutor for writing my thesis, because we have to write thesis at the end of bachelor course. So my professor told me that I can write my thesis, do my research in any field I want. And, because he gave me an open question, I was in a really difficult situation. And I spent the whole summer just searching for different articles. And I think thanks to him open-mindedness, I could find really early in my life the field I'm really interested in, and it's religious psychology. I'm interested in why people choose different values, why these specific values they choose to follow, what kind of aspirations they have, what guide their life. And one of the really interesting field is the meaning of life and searching for meaning, which really interests me. I wrote my bachelor thesis from this. So spirituality is also really interesting for me, and I can say that positive psychology is the best word to describe the field I'm interested in.
Searching out the meaning of life. I mean, that really is what it's all about, right? Is in the end, why do we exist? What is our purpose? What is our meaning? I resonate with that being a field of interest to know why do people choose their values and choose how they're going to build their life. What values are they going to build their life upon? That's fascinating. So you came to the States 2 years ago, you said,
Yeah.
and did a J term up at Calvin University, what was then Calvin College. And you did it in January, which we decided was a very brave time to decide to come to the States.
Yeah.
Because that was the middle of winter in Michigan. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Our university offered to their students a lot of scholarship opportunities. So I just read about this scholarship and I thought this is a really good opportunity for me to get a deeper insight what university life like in the States. So this scholarship was only 3 weeks long. And I applied for this because I just wanted to come here and have international experiences. I was interested in your culture. I wanted to try myself to be competent, to stand in an international education surrounding. So I came here and I really enjoyed it at Karoli College, Calvin College.
Which we've learned is the same thing.
Yeah,
yes.
you were right.
We've all become educated on that today. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I had really good experiences there, I was brave and I applied for this scholarship, and that's why I'm here for 4 months.
4 months, and you are brave too. I would not have had that bravery and didn't have that bravery in college. And looking back, I wish I would have taken the opportunity to go on international experiences and learn just how big God's world is and how fascinating and amazing people are all around the world. So I compliment you on your bravery to come here to Grace. And you said you arrived on August 16th.
Yeah.
Tell us your first impressions, whatever they may be, of Grace College.
My first day seems to be really long for me because everything was new and I had a lot of impression. I was amazed of the surrounding, of the environment. So the buildings are so nice here, and yeah, on the first day there wasn't hardly any people because it was before the starting of the semester, so it was a quite quiet day. But it was really good for me to discover the environment. So yeah, I walked around the campus, and I'm fond of the atmosphere it has. So I'm really thankful that I can study here in such nice environment because I love that there are trees, there is green grass everywhere, and I also had a short run down to the lake. So I was flow during a whole day.
You mentioned that you're a runner, and this is a pretty great environment to be a runner, wouldn't you say? We've got some nice trails, and you said you took a run down by the lake. Have you enjoyed getting out and seeing the trails and the environment around Grace?
Yeah, I'm fond of the trails you have here in the woods. So I can say I run almost every day or at least every second day here.
That's great.
I will miss it.
You'll miss the open air and the trees. It is a beautiful campus. We're very thankful for it. And what dorm are you staying in on campus?
I live in Alpha, and as far as I heard, it is the most cheerful and lively of all of the other dorms.
I think all of our alumni listening, the female alumni who have lived in it. Now, you know, our president's wife, Dr. Kadup's wife, lived in Alpha when she came here in the 70s. So that dorm has a long history and a short commute to the dining hall, which is great too, right?
Yeah.
So tell us some of the classes you're taking this semester while you're here with us and why you chose those classes.
Yeah, the previous semester has just ended, and in that semester I applied for process and techniques of counseling, which was really relevant to the field I study and do researches, and I applied for main topics in French literature. I also enjoyed it, and now it is the first day of this semester, and now I start to study personality theories and advanced French conversation.
Okay, so we have some counseling and we have some French.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, combination.
Yeah, as I mentioned, at Karoli University, I study psychology because our educational system differ from what you have here. So we don't have to apply for a major and minor. We have to specialize only one subject, and I specialize in psychology. And because I'm a member of a College of Excellence, this college has special requirements toward their pupils or students, and I have to have a language exam in French in January. So that's why I choose the half of the course is relating to psychology, and the other to French.
That sounds like a wise choice on your part.
I was forced.
So when you return to Hungary, what do you see as some of your hopes and dreams long term for your life? What do you hope to do?
I have to go back to Hungary in the beginning of December, and I feel I have already gained or have a lot of really useful experiences here, which I can utilize in my future. So I'm really grateful for this, and I'm graduating in master course this spring. I have not decided yet if I would like to go to doctorate course and making researches, or if I would like to apply for a more practical course. Because if I choose this practical one, I could be psychotherapist or a counselor, and it's more about we have practices in hospitals, so I would like to do both of them, and yeah, it's possible to do them, but it's a really long time in my country to become a really valuable psychologist. So it takes at least let's count 9 or 10 years.
Wow.
At least. Yeah. So I suppose I will apply for doctorate course because I feel my way, every steps in my life and every opportunities I got before leads me to doctorate course, and maybe later I can do the other one.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more about your experience here. I'd like to know just a few fun things, like where are some other cities that you've traveled to nearby, or a favorite restaurant that you've picked up in your time in Indiana?
Yeah. I had a lot of intercultural experiences here. So, for example, just let's talk about greeting. It really surprised me at the first time because people I met in my first day here in the campus was so friendly and open, and they behaved as they have known me for 10 years ago or as I am a family member. And I was surprised. And yeah, in my country, I think at the first sight, we show less emotions. So yeah, I observe some differences in our behavior, and I really like living in Alpha because, however, the girls are 2 or 3 years younger than me. They are so cheerful, and they always make me smile and laugh, and I'm really happy to have an insight what campus life like here in the United States.
Have you tried any restaurants in town yet?
Yeah, there's a sushi bar. I think its name is Yamato, as far as I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, so I really like the sushi here. And I also tried some American food, just, because I'm here, I must try.
Sure.
At least one of them. And I also visited a donut bar, which I really
Dunkin'
liked.
Donuts, was
Yeah,
that the one?
Dunkin' Donut, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that'll you can quickly get addicted to Dunkin' Donuts, that's for sure. Great, that's awesome. Have you traveled to visit any cities like Fort Wayne or South Bend, or have you mainly stayed here on campus?
Mostly I stayed here in campus, but we would like to travel to Chicago and visit the city because I have heard a lot of interesting thing about this. So it's my plan to visit that city during my stay.
I hope you get up there to Chicago. I'm going there in a few weeks. It is a wonderful city. So I hope you get the chance to go out there and check it out. We so appreciate you being on our campus because you bring so much to our community, and you have added your knowledge, you've added your culture, you've added your own spirit, which is warm. And so we thank you so much for being a part of this Grace community, and then even taking the next brave step of being willing to share your story on the podcast. And we're so excited for the relationship with Karoli. I think it's fantastic for our students and for the students there to be able to have the opportunity to interact and grow in our understanding of the world. And, we at Grace believe God created this world and he cares for all of it. And he wants us to know how to reach the world and interact with the world. And you the same with us. And so we're just thankful for that partnership and for you being on the podcast today.
I'm also really thankful for the opportunity and for being a member of the university for these 2 semesters. And I'm also thankful for my university to let me be the first student who came here. And I try to represent my university from my best knowledge. So
you are brave, the first one. That is awesome. That is awesome.
I'm really thankful for the all experiences I have here so far.
That's great. Well, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for listening to the Grace Story podcast. Music was written and produced by Dr. Wally Brath, Assistant Professor of Worship Arts at Grace College. And thanks to our co-producers, Andrew Palladino and Rick Neer. And if you can do a huge favor and rate or comment on this podcast wherever you retrieved it from, we'd be so grateful. Until next time, live your best Grace story today.